everyone has experienced an anal fissure at some point in their life. They may not have remembered it, they may completely be denying it, but we've all been there before. The thing is not everybody gets really bad or debilitating anal fissures. So how long should we wait? When should we get attention? I'd like to discuss that with you today. Hi there, I'm Dr. Chung, and I'm your friendly proctologist here in Orange County, California. Thanks so much for being here. Please support the channel, like, subscribe, and comment. Also, there's some really good helpful information in the description box, including info on how to get a video consultation so we can talk about your issue. In my office, I see anal fissures all the time. I mean, the cuts come in different shapes and sizes. The symptoms and the stories come in all different types of flavors. The one thing I want to impress upon you is to please do not keep waiting around if you keep getting these anal fissures. Get them addressed sooner. Now, one story that I keep hearing, or a situation I keep seeing in my office, is everybody starts out with these little miniature, no big deal fissures, right? They go away in a few days. But they start noticing that things are progressively getting worse, right? It's like anything else in this universe. If things keep happening, you ignore it, how do you expect it to get any better? But the unfortunate thing for some of these people is that they keep getting really, really bad. The pain is unbearable. The bleeding keeps happening. The cuts keep reopening all the time. And you can imagine the anxiety these people have because they're afraid to poop. They are afraid to eat. The pleasure of eating. Can you imagine that just being taken away from people? And it's not fair to say that all these people had just ignored their problems, right? They just had a blindfold on and they just played dumb. No, some people were actively getting treatment, yet their fissures kept getting worse and worse and worse. But at least they're on a journey to getting better, right? They're seeing and they're paying attention to their body. And I believe this is where the medical community, the internet, ChatGPT, whatever, has failed to inform people that fissures can get to the point where your life becomes debilitated. People can't go to work. And this is not just a few people, this is many people. This is a very common issue. Now, I consider myself to be an expert on anal fissures because I've helped so many people get their fissures heal and get better. But I'll tell you one other common truth is that the people who have struggled with fissures longer, have had a fissure that won't heal for longer, has a lot of pain, those people have a harder time, or the recovery is longer, needs more attention to get things better than someone who is not so far along on their fissure pain journey. When we're talking about something as painful as an anal fissure, we should definitely give a shout out to manybidets.com because they have the counter to soothe our bottom ends, which is a bidet. And in my opinion, that has changed my life, okay? And these guys up the ante by delivering a customer service experience that's going to actually help you get what you need and what's going to fit in your budget. You know, they are truly very sincere and honest people. They are willing to listen to your bottom ends. That's how you know if somebody is for real or not. Someone who's going to sit there and try to figure out, hey, what do you think about this feature? We also have this. And they're all based in the USA, okay? That's how serious they are about keeping the quality high and making sure your experience gets you also to a higher level of health. So definitely check them out at manybidets.com. So what is the reason behind these anal fissures and the pain getting worse? Well, it's because of the spasm. And I've done many videos on anal spasm and pelvic floor spasm. And these two muscles, the internal anal sphincter and the pelvic floor together, working against us in this type of scenario, that's what's keeping our fissures alive. And the muscles are so tight, they've learned this behavior over time and they will not open up and let go so that we can effectively just open the door and let the poop come out. Instead, it is a traumatic experience for our body and our muscles. The muscles are closed, so when we're trying to poop and we should be relaxing and opening their muscles, they are actually closed down and stressed out. So we feel this discomfort in our heads. We've got the urge to go number 2, right? And well, actually you can't help, but you feel your intestines starting to squeeze down. You also need to bear down a little bit. A little bit of pushing is normal, but the anus needs to be forced into submission. The guys just don't want to work with you. And really, the thing that happens next is the poop goes through these muscles. The muscles are really got a death grip on that poop as it's coming out, and all the rumbles and shakes with all that friction, right? The poop is going through a closed hole, a hole that wants to squeeze on that poop. How is and lining in your anus where the fissures are happening, how is that supposed to stay together and not rip over and over again? If when it's so fragile and you got all this really brutal force of power going against it. So why are our muscles doing this to us, right? Why are they working against us? Well, in my opinion, they have the worst case of PTSD you could ever imagine. They have never forgotten your first episode of an anal fissure, and what they do every single time they're traumatized is squeeze hard, harder, and harder, right? With each traumatic episode, they are learning the world. Ooh, gosh, this is a very, very dangerous place. I think we should just close down, protect ourselves, and the body will be very appreciative of us. Yeah, that's going to be great. Whereas the other side of the coin, we're talking to our anus, say, hey, buddy, stop it, relax. Let the poop come out, and that you don't have to fight us anymore. We can all work together. I'm telling you, the anus does not understand that. In my opinion, this is a body part that we were supposed to take for granted. We don't have a direct neural connection to these two muscles. They're unconsciously controlled. They are reflexively active, and they do not ask our permission ever. If there ever is a traumatic incident, those muscles, they're going to be squeezing and bearing down. So why are these muscles doing this to us? And in my opinion, it's because these muscles have the worst case of PTSD you could ever imagine. They remember your very first fissure, and over time as you keep getting them, they are learning that, gosh, I think the world is a very dangerous place. We're going to close down. I think the body is going to be very appreciative of us because we don't want something passing by, roughing us up, creating more cuts and creating more damage for our body. So we are going to take this action without the permission of the body, and we are going to start creating more pain, more difficulty with pooping. On the other hand, we, the bodies, right, our brain is saying, hey, anus, stop doing that. Do you know if you just let go and just opened up wide, we can poop better, we can eat better, we can live our lives easier? But really, we were supposed to take these muscles, the internal anal sphincter and the pelvic floor, for granted. We were never born with the ability to feel or control them. And so they are reflexively controlled. They are unconsciously controlled. So as much as we want them to relax and stop bothering us, they can't. They won't. And this is where things just consistently gets worse because the muscles start to get tired over time. When they get fatigued, that's when that pain after the poop starts happening. And that's a much later progression of anal fissures. That pain when you're pooping is the cut, that ripping sensation. The pain after the poop is done, that is the muscle spasm happening. And I'm telling you, I can feel this every time in examinations with my patients in my room. I know lots of doctors, they just jam their finger in, they put a scope in there, and they totally miss the diagnosis, which is really unfortunate because patients may just get the cream and the doctor's like, well, I guess you're just going to have to get a sphincterotomy then because, we don't know how to get this fissure to go away for you. Nothing's working, so we got to go this last resort. But this pain that's after the poop usually comes in within an hour. And many of these people actually can get it for 15 minutes, longer than 4 hours, 8, even 24. Some people cannot even sleep at night. Other people get woken up in the middle of the night in severe spasm pain. There's like something tight inside their pelvis and their anus, and they just can't seem to let it go. They're at its mercy. Many of these people are in my office really concerned because the traditional treatments like the creams for anal fissures just aren't working, and the doctor maybe doesn't even see a fissure anymore. So they're just asking me like, what is going on with me, because this pain that I feel is really debilitating. And I'll diagnose the spasm problem with the anal fissure. Sometimes I'll find the fissure when the doctor missed it, right? And so they'll say, what is this? And I'll tell them, like, this is something to calm me down, but I know it's not going to calm me down. But sir or ma'am, this pain that is so bad and so loud in your head and lasts for hours and hours is actually normal for your condition. And it definitely does take a physical examination to say something like that, but it is this bad. Yes, it is absolutely terrible. So for every one of you out there who's struggling with anal fissures, please get evaluated at least. Go see your medical doctor, go see a GI doctor, go see a surgeon, just see someone to get the journey started. Get the creams. That's the very first thing you can do. The diltiazem, the nifedipine, the nitroglycerin. Although nitroglycerin is really not my favorite. The other two are way less headache, so definitely get those first. The second thing is fix your stool texture so that they're soft and that you're not pooping multiple times a day. Something like fiber, for example, can make you poop more often than you have to, and that is definitely not helpful for your fissure. Third, I advise you to find a pelvic floor physical therapist as fast as you can. Find someone ideally who has experience with anal fissures, someone who recognizes what a tight pelvic musculature is like and what are the ways to help you relax and help you rehabilitate these injured muscles. And if your fissure ends up being stubborn or just keeps coming back, you're probably going to end up being referred to a surgeon. I'm definitely not a fan of the lateral internal sphincterotomy. That's where they cut the internal sphincter muscle, that muscle in your anus, just about a centimeter or so in length. I'm definitely not a fan of it. It is a permanent change in your body, and unfortunately, 20% of people end up getting another fissure at some point again. My choice is for Botox injection, but my Botox procedure is different than the other surgeons. I have found success in injecting the internal anal sphincter with the pelvic floor. My protocol is different than the normal colorectal or even general surgeon. And fortunately for my patients, they've found a lot of success with it. But that's not the whole plan, you see. The Botox is a medication that tells the muscles to shut up and just relax, right? So the muscles do get some relaxation. That brings healing, of course. But the thing is, they have to be now instructed, reprogrammed to relax, behave normally. This tightening all the time is no good. So the pelvic floor physical therapy with the Botox is extremely essential. Okay, very, very important key there. Because if you don't do the instruction with the pelvic floor physical therapy, the Botox lasts 3 months. Okay, so after the Botox wears off, you're back on your own again. You feel pretty good. You've gotten some rest with the Botox, but now you get another challenging poop, or you ate something bad, food poisoning. Now you're pooping 10 times a day. Guess what your anus is going to go back to doing? Yeah, it's going to end up squeezing and freaking out again, and you're going to end up getting that fissure problem back. Very, very unfortunate problem, and something I just would not want you to ever get back into. So please heed this warning. If you are getting fissures on a more frequent basis and they don't quite bother you so much yet, or they bother you a little bit that they are starting to get worse, it's time to get evaluated. It's time to face it head on, in my opinion. Go see some physicians. You can go and get the creams. Get started. Start seeing a physical therapist. You could even consult me in a video consultation. but try to not let that condition get worse before it's too late. Another recommendation I'd like to make is to check out manybidets.com. They've got so many different solutions for hygiene because we know that always gets in the way when we're trying to get better with our other anal issues, right? Our stool textures are getting very soft. Things are painful down there, so we can't wipe as effectively. Well, why don't we use a bidet? And you don't have to spend a ton. They are going to be able to help you with USA-based customer service, okay? People that also understand your condition, have spoken with many customers, and are knowledgeable about bottom end issues to help you find the right solution for you. I truly love that about these guys, that customer service is first. I think that you're going to be extremely happy with them. So check them out at manybidets.com. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.